The source of our learning. The base of English and the Panacea. We're going to start 5 lines from the bottom on Lamed Testament base. The Gemara starts with Bein Rabbi Gamliel, Bein Rabbi Eliezer, Linyan Shvius Esrig Basa Kanatas Lina. We mentioned that if you wanted to get an esrig on Shemitah year, you had to pay for the lulav extra. Oh, you had to get the esrig for free. If you don't want to give you the esrig for free, then you pay extra for the lulav, and the esrig comes along. We said, what would be the big deal? What's the problem? We said, well, you can't give money for the esrig, and then the person is going to end up using that money not with the holiness of Shemitah, of Shvius. So he said, if that's the case, then there you have the same problem with the lulav. He said, no, the lulav was from the 6th year, but the esrog is from the 7th year. Why is that? We said that the lulav goes when it grows, but the esrog follows basal lakita when it was picked. Gemara asks, but Ram Gamliel and Rebbe Eliezer hold that regarding Shvius, the esrog goes after when it buds. That means it's talking about that if it grew in the 6th year, it budded in the 6th year, the flower fell off in the 6th year, so then it's not a Shemitah esrog anyway. Ditanan, as it was taught in the Mishnah, esrog shava le'ilan begimel drachim u'leyerek b'derech echad. There's 3 comparisons an esrog has to a tree. And it has one comparison to a vegetable. Shavalilam gimel drachim la'arla u'l'ravai u'l'shvius. Arla, that means that the first 3 years the fruit's forbidden. L'ravai is the 4th year the fruit has to be taken to Yerushalayim. And shvius is that it follows the blossoming of the bud of the fruit, just like the way all trees work. That which year does it go? Is it categorized by? When the fruit, when it blossoms. Then it's similar to a vegetable. What happens is the years of the meiser switch. One knows, what do you do with your meiser? So in the first 2 years, the meiser goes to the Levi. In the 3rd year, the meiser goes to the ani, to the poor man. So when do you categorize what year this fruit grew? So whenever we're dealing with vegetables, always vegetables is categorized not when it blossoms, but when it's picked. So when it comes to an esrog, how do you take meiser? You take meiser based on when it's picked. That's what Rabbi Gamliel says. Well, that's a problem because he said that for Shvius you go after when it blossoms. Rabbi Eliezer, I'm asking Shavalim L'chol Davar. Rabbi Eliezer says that even for meiser it follows a tree. You don't even have it's never considered a vegetable that it goes only after it's picked. So the Gemara answers, Hudamar ki Tana. It's following another Tana. In other words, our Mishnah that's discussing the esrog has a difficulty on Shemitah, that you have to buy the lulav and get the esrog for free or somehow like that. That's following a different opinion. The Tanya was taught, Amar Rav Yesi. Rav Yesi says, of Thomas, Hayed Mishum Chamishu Zakenim. Of Thomas testified in the name of 5 elders. Esrog Achel Lakita Lemaiser. Rabbi Seinu Nimnu Beusha V'amru Bein Lemaiser Bein L'Shvius. That the esrog follows when it's harvested. Regarding meiser, knows which year is it considered? Is it considered from the first 2 years or the 3rd year? That depends on when it was picked. Basalakita. And the elders in Usha was one of the locations where the Sanhedrin traveled to. The Sanhedrin went from one place to another place, 10 different places. One of the places was Usha. Actually, that's 2 of the 10. Because it went to Usha, then it went back to Usha. So they established over there that for Meiser and for Shvius, it goes after when it's picked. The Gemara says, Shvius Mandacha Shmei. The first testimony only mentioned Meiser. It didn't mention Shvius at all. So why are you adding in now that they say Shvius? It sounds like there's a machlekes here. That the first opinion held Shvius is something else. And this opinion holds, no, Shvius is Basar Lakita. The Gemara says, Chusuri Mechsura, it's missing somewhere. It's Bachi Ktani. It's supposed to be taught like this. Esra Gacha Lakita, Lemaiser Bacha Chanata L'Shvius. The first opinion held that the esrog regarding Meiser, you follow when it's harvested. That would mean that if it's harvested in the 7th, I don't know how the 7th year works for Meiser. If it's harvested in the 6th year or in the 3rd year, then it would be Meiser Ani. If it's in year 1, 2, 4, and 5, then it's Meiser for the Levi, Meiser Rishon. However, but you follow when it blossoms for Shemitah. Okay, we're not following that opinion in our Mishnah. Okay, that explains what was going on in our Mishnah. Why did we make a big deal about getting an esrog on Shemitah? The problem is because we follow when it's picked. No one holds that. Yeah, we came up with the opinion that someone holds that. What's opinion is that? That's these Rabbi Seinu Nimnu Ba'usha. They said that for Shvius and for Meiser you follow when it's picked. Okay, now the Gemara is going to ask. I think Moshe, you asked this yesterday. Taima the lulav bar shishas hanichnas l'shviyasu. Why did you say that the lulav has no problem? Because it was from last year. And when do we establish the lulavs? How is it categorized when it grew? Not when it's cut. So the lulav you follow, it's the previous year because it was a 6th year lulav that you took off. The shviyas. But if it would be a 7th year lulav, Kaddish, then it would be sanctified. Now, that's the way we answered. The problem is that really what's going on here? It's just wood. You don't have to get into that at all, because we made a difference between the lulav and the esrog based on the year, as they both grew together. But the esrog gets categorized different because it has a special status that gets categorized like a vegetable. That when it's picked, that's when it's considered the fruit. And the lulav wasn't like that. That's the way we said. The lulav was a 6th year lulav. I said, really? That means it would be a problem if it would be a 7th year lulav. But the truth is, it wouldn't be a problem even if it is a 7th year lulav because it's just wood. And the only problem of shviyas was liyachla, was to eat it. That means it's referring to the fruits. The Tanan, as it was taught in the Mishnah, it's supposed to be the Tanya. On the side it says it was taught in the Brisa. Ali kanim v'ali kapanim. It's the leaves of reeds, the leaves of grapes. Shegavavan, l'chayva, al pnei asadeh. They were collected. Chayva is some sort of place where they would keep them. They put them on the field. So laktan la'achila. If they were then taken for animal food, yesh bem misham kedusha shviyas, then they have the sanctity of shviyas. Laktan li'etzim, but if they're taken for firewood, ein bem misham kedusha shviyas, then it doesn't have the sanctity of shviyas. What does that mean? That firewood does not have the sanctity of shviyas, of shmita. So there's no problem with the lulav. When it says shani hasam, the makra lechem lachla, lechem dumya de lachla. Misha nasa birishaba yatsa itzim shanasa nacha biura. Yeah. The Gemara explains like this: that there's a difference the way you get usage from wood and everything else. You with me? Oh yeah, you're getting feedback. It goes like this. Normally, the consumption, the consumption of the food is at the same time that it's being consumed, that it's being destroyed. It's getting used up as it's being eaten. Wood, on the other hand, when you burn the wood, so you have to wait for it to burn before you can start cooking. Wait for it, you start the fire, it starts to burn, it turns into coals, and then you start cooking. So that when we're discussing firewood, then we're dealing with something that does not have the Kedusha Shviyah, because it's already destroyed by the time you're getting benefit from it. On the other hand, when I'm talking about a lulav, what's the benefit of a lulav? Well, normally a lulav is used as a broom. Now, as you use the broom, it wears away at the straw, the pieces on the bottom, right? So it's actually at the time of usage that it's actually being consumed.
Which person owns that?
Which? I'm sorry?
Which person owns that?
Oh, it's a broom.
Which?
Oh, the witch. The witch. Yeah. Dr. Stein says, which person holds that? It says a witch. A witch. Okay. Yeah.
It's so bad.
It says, but 1 second, not all wood is used in that way, that you first burn it and then you cook off the heat. There is another type of wood that you use for light. It's called Eitz Shemen or Eitzim Dimashchan. There's this Eitz, it's Eitz Shemen. It's a oil wood that's used to give light. And Nasan Birim Shavet, that you get the light at the same time as it's burning, which is exactly the way it works with food. And if that's the case, then it would have the Kedusha Shviyas. Amar Rava says, well, yeah, you're right. Just that's not what we're dealing with. Stam Eitzim Ulasake named him. Stam Eitzim. Stam Eitzim. We're dealing with Stam Eitzim. Yeah. Yeah, there's some extra words here. Stam Eitzim, or maybe it's not supposed to say Ulasaka. I have an old Gemara. And then let me see in the new Gemara if they adjust something here. Okay. Stam Eitzim. And then it says Ula Hasake Nandam or La Hasake Nandam.
Undesignated wood.
Yeah, over here it corrects it. Over here it says Stam Eitzim La Hasake Ein Nandam. Yeah, my Gemara says Stam Eitzim Ula Hasake. It's like, what's the Ula? Okay, what's the Vav over here? No. Okay. Now it says, and is that true that wood is used for burning? Be'itzim la'asaka tanaihi. That's actually machlekes tanai. The Tanya taught in the Brisa. In Meisim Perish Shvius should not be given over Loila Mishra. Mishra is usually to soak flax. Loila Kusa, and not for laundry. Rabbi Yossi says no, it can. So my time of the Tanakama. What's the reason why you had an issue over here with using the wood to prepare the flax, or for the laundry? The Amar Kra because the pasuk says that the fruits of Shvius have to be eaten, and now you're not using it for food. My time of the Rabbi Yossi. So why does Rabbi Yossi hold? Rabbi Yossi says that it is acceptable. That you can use it for all your needs. It's given to you, even for flax and for laundry. What about the Tanakama? They also have that word. It says that you should be allowed to use it for whatever you want. Like we said before, that wood has a different way of getting benefits from it than the way you would get benefit from food. The way you get benefit from food is as you get benefit, it's being consumed. The way you get benefit from wood is first you consume it, and then the benefit comes later from the heat that you use off the burnt wood. So I would have been allowed to use it. This is interesting. According to this, I would be allowed to use it for food. Even according to the Tanakama. I'd be allowed to use the wood to cook because it's lachla, it's to eat. It's for cooking food. I just can't use it for anything that's not food, because then I'm getting a different sort of benefit from it. Right. That's what it sounds like. Right.
Why is it about bringing its whole
The lulav. Does the lulav have the laws of Shemitah? In other words, can you buy a lulav on Shemitah? You're not supposed to do business with Shemitah produce. And then if you do, then the money gets the value, gets the sanctity of Shvius. And in that exchange, you took Shemitah fruits. That money that was used to purchase now gets the sanctity of Shemitah. So does that also apply to the lulav? We said that it applies to the Esrog. The year, okay. The lulav was from the year before. Then the Gemara says, "Oh, it sounds like if it wasn't from the year before, but if it's from this year, then there would be a problem." Now we started discussing. Really, is there really a problem with the lulav? So we said, "But what about wood? Wood, that doesn't seem like there's a problem." So we said, "Well, wood gets consumed, and then you get the benefit, which that was the issue. But the lulav is consumed at the same time. Remember the witch? So then." So that would mean that the lulav actually has the same status as Shemitah, just like the Esrog. Even though you don't eat it, yeah. No, the witch eats it. Rabbi Yossi aksiv lach, but what about Rabbi Yossi? Why does he say that you're allowed to use wood for laundry on Shemitah? It says it's telling me that it's supposed to be used for food and not for medicine. Kidetanya is supposed to start in a brayse that the food of Shemitah is supposed to be used for food and not for medicine. Maybe it means not for laundry. Once it says lachem, then I already know kusa because it's lachem means for you, for your usage, for whatever you need. So it's already included laundry. would boil water for laundry. Amar Hare Kusa Amar Amani Makayim La'achla. So what is it saying? La'achla v'lay l'melugma. Not for medicine. When it says, why do you choose laundry over medicine? Why do you choose the laundry over the laundromat over the hospital? So it says, because laundry everyone needs. That is not equal for everyone. Not everyone is sick, but everyone has laundry. Yeah. Could be. Yeah. 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 The English is calling malugma plaster. How does it say it over there? Right on the bottom of the page as it turns. No, because his page turns and then in the middle of the page. Okay, yeah, and the 48. Remedy. Okay. Montana, yeah.
Yeah, so is this discussion about the purpose of wood to help determine the status of the lulav? Is that why we're doing?
Yeah, the lulav sort of we got out of because we said the lulav has the same consumption as food. So the lulav would have the laws of Shemitah. But when it comes to other wood, you see the lulav is a broom also. When it comes to other wood that's just used for burning, so then not necessarily does it have the same status as Shemitah fruits. So
but we were asking yesterday, the question I asked yesterday was about, we had a problem with the lulav coming in from the 6th year into the 7th year.
Right.
He said, well, you go after the kitasai, you go after the cutting of it. The question is, if you're cutting this lulav now on the shvis, how are you going to use it on the 8th year?
Yeah. So in the 8th year, you would have the same issue according to this. In the 8th year for the lulav, you would
didn't say that.
That's for free. It just didn't say that.
No.
However, yeah, the Mishnah didn't say that, but the Gemara sort of alluded to that when the Gemara said, "Taima the lulav barshishis anichnas l'shviyas, had the shviyas kadosh." But if it would be the 7th year going into the 8th year, then it would be sanctified. Yeah. It just didn't tell me a Mishnah that should clarify that. The Mishnah the Mishnah made it look like there's only a problem with the esrog. Yeah. Okay. We're holding Montana. Go ahead. Yeah. It's like 3 lines from the top. Montana la the Tanur Rabbanan. Who's the author of the following brisa? La'achla v'lay l'melugma. The fruits of shviyas, of Shemitah, is supposed to be eaten. It's supposed to be eaten. It's not meant to be used for remedies. I don't know what that would be that's not eaten. Like you said, a plaster, a poultice of some sort, you know. I'm sorry. If it's eaten, no, but if it's eaten, then it's eaten. It means it's supposed to be used as actual food, not for some other salves or something. It's supposed to be used for food, not for perfume. They would take nice wine and they would make it use it as perfume. La'achla v'lay lasis mena apiktavazin. It's made for food and not supposed to be used for what's something that makes the person vomit. What is it called? Emetic. Emetic.
That's a medic.
I got it. So who is the opinion that holds this? That you have restrictions on Shemitah food for remedies, for perfume, and for an emetic? Come on, Rabbi Yossi. This must be following the opinion of Rabbi Yossi. The Rabbanan economy mishra klusa. If it would have been the Rabbanan, then there's other restrictions, and that's the laundry and heating the water for the flax, soaking the flax. Amar Rabbi Lazar, ein shviyas miskalelas ela derech Mecca. There's a machlokes here, how to take the sanctity of Shemitah food. So, how do you do it by Meiser? Meiser Sheni is sanctified food. It has to go to Yerushalayim. If it's too heavy for you to bring to Yerushalayim, so you take the sanctity off the Meiser and you put it off the food and you put it onto money. How do you do that? You say these fruits here should be mischalal, should be exchanged for this money that I have right here. And that's it. There was no other person that was involved. It's just you, the food, and the money, and you just appoint the money to be in exchange for that. Rabbi Lazar comes along and says that that's not how it works by Shemitah. By Shemitah, you actually need another person there to buy it from you. You can't just do it with two things on your table. It says it's ein shvius mischalelas ela derech Mecca. You need someone there that's going to buy this food from you. Yeah, you can set it up. You give him money. You tell him buy the food from me, and they give me back the food. But it's nevertheless it has to be done with the derech Mecca. Rabbi Yochanan Amar bein derech Mecca bein derech Chilul. Rabbi Yochanan says no. You can do it exactly the way you do Meiser Sheni, which is derech Mecca or derech Chilul. My time with the Rabbi Lazar. Why is Rabbi Lazar saying this? It says in this year, which is Shemitah or Yovel, and right next to it, it says that if a person will buy a field, I think over there it says don't overcharge him. Right? What goes on with the continuation of that pasuk? What does it say? If you sell an item to your neighbor, it doesn't. Okay. Whatever the case is, the point is that juxtaposition of the year of Yovel and Shemitah connected to if you sell an item to the neighbor, so that juxtaposition tells me that the way that the produce of Shemitah is exchanged is only through a sale. Derech Mecca v'lei derech Chilul. Rabbi Yochanan. What about Rabbi Yochanan? Rabbi Yochanan held that it could be done derech Chilul. My time, what's his reason? Diksiv ki yovel hi kodesh. Ma kodesh bein derech Mecca bein derech Chilul. Av shvius bein derech Mecca bein derech Chilul. Rabbi Yochanan says it's like anything else that's kodesh. Anything that's consecrated, you can exchange it. You have to add a fifth or whatever, but it doesn't matter. You don't need someone to purchase it to get it to exchange it. If you consecrated something, you could then take the holiness off it and put it on the money. Yeah. Yeah, it means to profane, to make mundane. Hillel is to make mundane. Yeah, well, that's the redemption from consecrated to mundane. So I would take this was originally consecrated. I make this mundane, and I put the consecration on this, on the money. So now the money becomes holy. Right? So but then with that money, I would have to give it to the Beis Hamikdash. If it was kodesh, if it would be other things, then it would have shemitah. Then it would have the laws of shemitah. Rabbi Yochanan hayich kisimkru mimkar mayavidlei. What does Rabbi Yochanan do with the pasuk that Rabbi Elazar says that it has to be done in the way of a sale? He uses it for something that Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, that's the first generation. It's an early Amira in Eretz Yisrael. The Tanya, who was taught in a brayso from Rabbi Yossi Bar Chanina, Borei, come and see Kamakasha Avka Shel Shvius. Take a look at how strict Shemitah is. Even the dust of Shemitah is strict. Yeah, we have this expression by like avak ribis or avak lashon hara, right? Avak is the dust of it. What does it say? Adam noisei v'noisin b'perish shvius. If a person uses shmita for the produce of shmita for to sell, in other words, it's not that he's working his field. He's careful with his field. He's not doing anything in the field. But the produce, which was taken from the field, he sells it. So then, l'soif meicher es metaltala ves kela. In the end, he's going to end up selling his possessions and his clothing. It says that in this year of Yovel, everyone returns to their inheritance because the sales of property go back at the year of Yovel. And Yovel is referring to Shemitah, the Jubilee. And Yovel also is in reference to the Shemitah as well in this instance. And then it says, if a person will sell to his friend. So that means that there's a connection between keeping the Shemitah, the Yovel, and the selling of personal items. Rabbi Elazar, Haikra, the Rabbi Yochanan Mayafadlai. What about what Rabbi Yochanan said? Rabbi Yochanan said, Ki Yovel hi Kodesh. That the fruits of Shemitah and Yovel are considered holy. That told Rabbi Yochanan that you can redeem the fruits of Shemitah even without a sale. You just have the money there. What does Rabbi Elazar do with that? He says that it needs to be a sale. So it says, Haikra the Mayafadlai. Look at the Tanya. He uses it for what it was taught in the brayso. Wow. Just like when I have something that's holy, and I take the holiness off it and I put it on money. Now the money becomes holy. So too, when by Shemitah, if I have Shemitah fruits, Shemitah produce, and I want to exchange that for money, according to him, it has to be an actual sale. But it doesn't matter. The money now becomes consecrated with the holiness of Shemitah. That's what he learns from the pasuk of Kodesh. Tani kavasei Rabbi Elazar, Tani kavasei Rabbi Yochanan. We have braysos that support each of them. What was the machlekes? If you can redeem Shemitah fruits on your own without another person there. Does someone else need to purchase it from you, or can you do it right there on your table? So, Tani Chavasei Rabbi Elazar. Start with the brayso that supports Rabbi Elazar. It says, Shvius teifes estamel. Shvius, the fruits of Shemitah, they grasp the money. That means that if you exchange it, the money becomes consecrated. Shnemar, Ki yovel likaydish tielachem, makaydish tefes dama vaser, afshvias tefes estameh vasura. Also by Shemitah, just like by things that are consecrated, when they're exchanged for money, the money becomes consecrated. So to Shemitah, the fruits of Shemitah that get exchanged for money, the money gets the status of Shemitah. Maybe it's the same thing, that just like by something is consecrated, it then goes to becoming mundane because you redeemed it. Maybe Shemitah is the same thing. When you purchase Shemitah fruits, the Shemitah fruits now become mundane and the money becomes consecrated. Maybe that's the same thing. It doesn't become deconsecrated, it stays consecrated. Okay, Ted, how does that work? Lakach bepeirish shviyas basar.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why can't we run it from last year? You can't do it twice.
Oh, yeah, the exchange. Yeah. Let's take a look. Let's see. Let's say you have produce for Shemitah, but you want meat. So you go to the butcher and you give him your Shemitah produce and you get meat. Both things have to be removed from the house when there's no fruits left out in the field. There's a time shasabir. The rule of Shemitah is that you're allowed to take fruits from fields during Shemitah. The only thing is you can't start storing it in your house when there's nothing left in the field. You can always have fruits in your house and all of that, as long as there's also fruits outside. But once there's no fruits left outside and you're just storing it in your house, then that's not right. You're hoarding. What is it? Hoarding. You're hoarding. That's for Shemitah. It doesn't work like that. So you have to then take what's in your house and bring it outside. Some say you have to destroy it, but I think there was much like it. Otherwise, you just put it outside. Now, that applies to both the original and what it was exchanged with. So in this case, it would be fruits and meat need to be taken outside. But let's say you took the meat and then you bought fish. Yatsa basar b'nichnas dagim. The meat does not have the quality of shvius anymore, but the fish does. So it's the original fruits and the last item, not what's in between. Lakach b'dagim yayin. You took the fish and you exchanged it for wine. Yatsa dagim nechnas yayin. The fish loses its status, but the wine gets a status. Lakach b'yayin shemen. If you exchange the wine for oil, yatsa yayin v'nechnas shemen. How does this work? The last thing is the status of shviyas, and then the original fruits. Now, all of this was very interesting, but that wasn't the point. The point was that the word that we used when we were exchanging the fruits for this, for the meat, for this, every time, what did we say? Lakach. Midiktani lakach, alma derech mekach in derech hilalai. That means that it's only derech mekach. It's only in a way of selling. Okay. Yeah, everything in the middle doesn't remain with the status. But the idea over here is that there was a machlekes between Rabbi Lazar and Rabbi Yochanan, how to redeem fruits of Shemitah, which they never really get redeemed, but those get exchanged, one to another. That's only derech mekach, only by a sale, as it says over here, laka. Okay, let's leave it over here. We're up to the tiny conversation of Yeshua.
Shkoyach, Rabbi. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you, Rami.